All right, so this example too is super important. It's still going to be using that fact about the combined possible outcomes always being 100 or 1. And this question corresponds directly with practice problem number 1. It does show up on your review sheet when you get that, and it will show up on your test, I promise. Okay, so we have 3 choices for coins. So we're picking out of a bag, and we're picking either pennies, nickels, or dimes. And again, I just like to color code my highlighting because it makes life so much easier. So if we're picking out of a bag and the bag has pennies, nickels, and dimes in it, the probability of me picking a penny or a nickel or a dime is going to be 100%. Because if I pick something out of the bag that has only pennies, nickels, and dimes in it, I'm definitely going to get a penny, a nickel, or a dime. So the probability of a penny plus the probability of a nickel, that notation I'm using, P of probability of, plus the probability of a dime, is going to be equal to 1. And again, I'm using 1 instead of 100% because I think 1 is a lot easier to deal with than 100% is. All right, now we fill things in. The probability of penny. Well, we don't know the probability of a penny. That's what they're asking us for. So if I don't know it, I can use my unknown number x to represent it. Probability of getting a nickel is 1/5, and the probability of getting a dime is 3/10. And again, we're just going to carry down that equals 1. Now, before we can add those fractions together, we need to go back to our Unit 2 and review about common denominators. We cannot possibly add fractions unless we have common denominators. So, how am I going to turn that 1/5 into a denominator of 10? 5 times what gets me to 10? And that would be 2. So I'm going to turn that 1/5 of a nickel into 2/10 instead. I'm going to keep my 3/10 the same. Going back up a step, how can I turn 1 into a fraction? Put it over 1. Get a common denominator the same way by multiplying each of those by 10 to get me 10/10, which makes sense because 10 divided by 10 is 1. Okay, continuing getting my common denominators. I know that my penny probability, whatever that x is, I know that the denominator has to be out of 10. So I can fill that in as well. Combine some like terms. The 2/10 plus the 3/10 gives us 5/10. Carrying everything else down like normal. And now here, you might be able to figure out what the missing x is by just looking at the equation. If not, you are just minusing your 5/10 to both sides. And I'm just going to swoopity swoop that arrow, leaving us with x equals 5/10, which means the probability of getting a penny, P of a penny, is equal to 5/10 or 1/2. Just like practice problem number 1, strongly suggest taking a look at it.